Let It Snow is a 2020 Christmas slasher film, and I've never heard of this movie up until a few weeks ago because I was scrolling through a whole bunch of pages like top 10 most underrated slasher films and just some unknown slasher films to the public that people don't really talk about. And this film popped up, and I looked at the trailer and I thought the trailer was cool. I thought it had a badass looking poster, and it was a Christmas style, slasher film, which we have an okay selection of like slashers based during the Christmas time. We have Better Watch Out, we have Black Christmas, and like I wanted to watch like a good old classic like slasher film. I wanted to watch something new that I haven't seen, and after watching X, like I'm kind of on a roll with watching slasher films. I'm on a slasher high at the moment. And this movie, while it's definitely more survival based than slasher, like the first maybe 25 minutes of the movie, like there's a portion of that is slasher, but then after it kind of becomes more of a survival hunt film rather than an actual slasher, because there's certain tropes you have to fulfill for genre fans, and such as like having a kill like every few minutes, and having this big group of characters and all that. And so there's certain tropes that you have to have in a slasher film, which this film doesn't really follow that. This is very much more of a one location film to a degree, even though it's this big wide environment. It's a very kind of closed in and claustrophobic environment where you can scream as loud as you want, like nobody can hear you, because they're at this part of the mountain where only very few people go, and the people who do go there end up disappearing or dying. Like they just like poof off, like off the face of the earth, and nobody knows what happens. And so there's this rumor going around there that it's cursed, or maybe there's a ghost on this part of the mountain. And there's all these different rumors going around. And as far as our kills go in the film, like there's very there's very small amount of them, if not none. Like there's maybe one kill I can think of, but it's off screen. Um, and then besides that, yeah, this film isn't really a kill count centered film. This is a film that's more based on its characters. But then that brings up the other point at like the movie presents to you like frustrating as fuck characters here, because we have this couple that they're hearing from like police cops and from this receptionist chick, that these mountains are cursed, that these are dangerous. Like there's stop signs everywhere, and there's warnings and red flags like everywhere. Like they even see a dead body from someone who went up to the Black Ridge like a few days earlier, and they see this dead body and they immediately just brush it over like it's nothing. Like this isn't something to be concerned about. And so it's frustrating when they're being shown there's clear evidence. There's evidence in front of you to why this is a dangerous area. Like I understand these characters are probably adrenaline junkies. I understand that part of their characters, but the thing is, like they've heard like all over the news. They've like there's all these signs that saying it's this really bad place, and if you go there, you will die. There is no coming back from this. But like that, they still continue to prove their point that no, this place is not dangerous. And so it baffles me when a story and a concept like this, this is a really interesting concept on page. I think this would make for a really cool slasher film, and in many ways this is a fun slasher film, to say the least. But you're stuck with the most idiotic characters, and when they're in this situation, when they get stuck in this situation and there's no coming back from it, it's really hard to cheer for them. It's really hard to say, I want you to get out of this. And so that brings the tension in the film down to almost a zero here. There's one or two little tiny moments of tension, because when the killer is going after our characters, I mean, you're on the killer's side, because it's their fault they're in this situation, so that there's really no empathizing with our characters here. So yeah, characters, they tell, there's nothing to them. Story, as I said, on paper, I think this can be executed really well. I want to get into some of the positives I have to say about Let It Snow, because there are a few positives, especially for a modern day slash film, which one thing that really stood out that I really appreciated. There's one sequence in this film where our main character finds her boyfriend, and he's formed into a snowman. If you've seen the movie, you know the scene I'm talking about. That scene I thought was very effective. As a kill sequence, it's very effective in the way in the way where you're actually seeing, you're not actually seeing what happened to him, so it's hiding that there's a suspenseful kind of factor to that kill, and it's much more of a psychological kill, and it more fucks with her brain in the way where she's actually seeing his dead body now, and she sees the ring that he was going to propose to her on this mountain. And so there's this feeling of regret, and it's supposed to be a moment where we sympathize with our character, but we don't, and that's just a problem, because these characters are dumbasses. But that moment, it got me for a second, only because because you buy into their relationship in the first act of the film. He gets killed off very quickly, so he doesn't really have a have a purpose in the film, just really to make this a slasher film, because you have to have at least one kill in the film to be considered a slasher film. But then there's other genre tropes that you can follow on as well. But I thought that was a really effective little sequence in the film, and easily the highlight sequence for me, because it's much more of a psychological kill that's fucking with our main character's mind. And so yeah, I really appreciated the direction there. I appreciated how they presented that kill to us. I thought it was well timed and well paced within the story that is being presented to us. So yeah, I don't really have any big problems with how the kill was actually turned out in this film. Well, kill, sorry. But yeah, I think really at the end of the day, is this a movie I'm going to rewatch? Sure, maybe by the time December comes around, I will be in that Christmas mood to put on this film. But if it was any other day, I can't see myself having the urge to watch this film, because I just don't think there's really anything in this that's really all that memorable. It's like it follows a very familiar story to us. This is how every fucking horror situation starts, is with everybody, saying that, like there's this haunted, whatever, or there's this cursed, whatever, like that they don't pay attention, they pay the price. Like Wrong Turn is a great example, of that. Like every host situation is followed by red flags at the start of the film, and our characters don't listen, they pay the price. So I liked how it was a familiar story to the slasher genre, but with a film that we don't see a whole lot of, winter slasher films, and so this film, it looked very promising from the